Ever wonder how we went from Friday night trips to the video store to binge-watching entire seasons from our couch? This isn't just a story about technology. It's a tale of a tiny startup that took on a giant and completely changed the way we watch movies and TV shows forever. This is the untold story of Netflix. Our story begins back in 1997. The internet was still a novelty for most, and the king of home entertainment was Blockbuster. Remember that blue and yellow ticket stub logo? It was everywhere. Drive over, browse the aisles, argue about what to watch, and pray the new release you wanted wasn't already checked out. And woe betide you if you forgot to rewind the tape or brought it back a day late. Those late fees were brutal. Enter Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph. The official story, the one that's become a Silicon Valley legend, goes like this. Hastings rented the movie Apollo 13 from Blockbuster, misplaced it, and got hit with a $40 late fee. Frustrated on his way to the gym, he had a light bulb moment. What if movie rentals worked like a gym membership? A flat monthly fee, no late charges. It sounds simple, but it was revolutionary. So, Hastings and Randolph launched Netflix. But it wasn't the streaming service we know today. In the beginning, it was a DVD by mail service. You'd go on their website, pick out a few movies, and they'd arrive in your mailbox in these iconic red envelopes. When you were done, you'd just pop the DVD back in the mail. No due dates, no late fees. For film buffs who lived far from a video store or were tired of limited selections, this was a game changer. At first, Netflix was just a tiny speck on Blockbuster's radar. Blockbuster was a $10 billion empire with over 9,000 stores worldwide. They were the undisputed champions. In the year 2000, Netflix was still struggling and losing money. So, Hastings and Randolph did something bold. They flew to Dallas, to Blockbuster's headquarters, and made them an offer. They proposed that Blockbuster buy Netflix for $50 million. Netflix would run Blockbuster's online brand, creating a perfect hybrid of a physical and digital business. And what did Blockbuster do? They laughed them out of the room. Blockbuster's CEO, John Antioco, reportedly thought the offer was a joke. They were making a fortune from late fees, that very thing Netflix was trying to eliminate. Why would they buy a niche, money-losing service that went against their entire business model? It was one of the biggest business blunders in modern history. That rejection was the fuel Netflix needed. Hastings and Randolph went back to California, more determined than ever. They weathered the dot-com bust, slowly but surely grew their subscriber base, and finally, in 2003, they turned a profit. People loved the convenience. Selection was vast, way more than any physical store could ever hold. You could find indie films, foreign cinema, and old classics right alongside the latest blockbusters. The iconic red envelope became a welcome sight in mailboxes across America. Meanwhile, Blockbuster was starting to feel the heat. They saw Netflix's success and tried to launch their own version, Blockbuster Online, with a similar subscription model. But it was too little too late. They were trying to compete with Netflix while also protecting their brick-and-mortar stores, which were a huge overhead expense. It was like trying to steer two ships in opposite directions at the same time. They even eliminated late fees for a while, but it only cut into their main revenue stream and confused customers. Then came the next seismic shift, streaming. By 2007, internet speeds were getting faster, and Netflix saw the future. They introduced their Watch Now feature. At first, the selection was small, and the quality wasn't amazing. But Hastings knew this was the way forward. Famously said that their goal was to kill their own DVD buy mail business before someone else did. They were willing to disrupt themselves to stay ahead of the curve. This is where the real genius of Netflix shines through.
How?
They understood that content wasn't just about what you watch, but how you watch it. They poured billions into licensing movies and TV shows, creating a massive digital library. They developed a sophisticated recommendation algorithm, that seemingly psychic system that knows exactly what you want to watch next. It keeps you engaged, keeps you subscribed, and keeps you on the couch. While Netflix was building its digital empire, Blockbuster was collapsing. The convenience of streaming was the final nail in the coffin. People no longer needed to leave their homes. Store after store closed down. In 2010, Blockbuster, the once unbeatable giant, filed for bankruptcy. It was a stunning fall from grace. Today, only one single Blockbuster store remains, in Bend, Oregon, nostalgic tourist attraction, a relic of a bygone era. But Netflix wasn't done. They knew that licensing content from other studios was expensive and temporary. A studio could pull its hit show at any time, so they made their next big bet. Original content. In 2013, they released House of Cards, a high-quality political drama with A-list actors and directors. They did something unheard of. They dropped the entire season all at once. The era of binge-watching was born. It was a massive success and changed everything. Suddenly, Netflix wasn't just a distributor. It was a major Hollywood studio. They followed up with hits like Orange is the New Black, Stranger Things, and The Crown. They produced movies that won Oscars. They became a global production powerhouse, creating content in different languages all over the world. From Money Heist in Spain to Squid Game in South Korea, the story of Netflix and Blockbuster is more than just a business case study. It's a lesson in vision, innovation, and the danger of complacency. Blockbuster wasn't defeated by Netflix. It was defeated by its own refusal to change. They were so focused on protecting their existing business that they could unsee the future hurtling toward them. Netflix, on the other hand, was always looking ahead. From DVDs by mail to streaming to becoming a global studio, they have constantly reinvented themselves. They weren't afraid to make bold, risky bets that often seemed crazy at the time. They understood that in the fast-paced world of technology and entertainment, if you stand still, you get left behind. Today, the streaming landscape is crowded. Disney, Amazon, Apple, and others have all jumped into the ring, creating the streaming wars. But it was Netflix that created the playbook. They built the world we now live in, a world where our favorite entertainment is always just a click away. It all started with a simple, frustrating $40 late fee for Apollo 13, and an idea that would ultimately conquer the world. Thanks so much for watching. What are your memories of Blockbuster? And what's your favorite Netflix show of all time? Let me know down in the comments. Do we forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories behind the brands and ideas that shape our world?